You know how Pet Walk is getting bigger? Big banner. That's right, it's getting big, and we're going to talk about it next on our Animal Tales podcast. Why am I yelling? Welcome everyone to Animal Tales podcast, episode number 5. My name is Eric Keaton, and we are talking all about our pet walk coming up on Saturday, April 15th. Not one, but 2 locations at North Straub Park and at OCC Road House and Museum. We're going to visit OCC Road House and Museum in just a bit, but first let's talk about one of our 2 presenting sponsors, and that would be Hill's Pet Nutrition. Had the great opportunity to talk to Joanne Fuller all about how they support animal welfare, not just here at SPCA Tampa Bay, but across North America. Welcome, Joanne Fuller from Hill's Pet Nutrition, one of our big presenting sponsors for Pet Walk. Joanne, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic, Eric. Thank you for having me on.
Well, we enjoy the company. We enjoy Hill's Pet Nutrition. And for really a lot of our fans out there of SPCA Tampa Bay, they're like, well, how did you get involved with Hill's? Hill's has been so involved with our organization. What is the belief and how have you guys been involved in so many animal welfare organizations, not just us, but a lot of them across the country?
That's a good question, and we are very proud to have been supporting SPCA Tampa Bay for 11 years now, feeding all the pets in the shelter's care and providing bags of food to go home with pet families who adopt from the shelter. But what a lot of people don't realize is that Hill's has a much bigger footprint in animal welfare than just in the local area. So about 20 years ago, the company decided that if we were going to put resources and dollars and support behind bringing pet families together, we wanted to do that in a space where pets really needed that second chance the most, and that was in shelters. And so for the last 20 years, we actually celebrated our 20th anniversary last year. Our Food, Shelter, and Love program has been providing nutrition to hundreds of shelters across the United States, because we believe that when you put together the love and the care of the shelter and the right nutrition, you really help shelter pets to be healthy and happy and ultimately, hopefully, make it into a new home more quickly.
Well, I would agree, Joanne. And you mentioned about our adopters. So this program just isn't keeping our pets that are in our care, hopefully for a very short time before they find their forever home. But once an adopter is taking home their next dog or other animal, that relationship, we hope, continues, because talk about how you provide an extra bag of food for every adoption that we have.
Yeah, that's another great question. It's extremely important while the pets are in the shelter to make sure that the nutrition they are receiving is not only a very high quality nutrition, but that it's consistent. We know that abrupt changes in a pet's diet can sometimes cause some GI upsets. That's why as a science-based company, we always recommend transitioning from one food to another if you are going to switch. But while a pet is in a shelter, which is inherently a stressful environment, right? It's not a home environment, although it's a wonderful environment. We want to keep their nutrition that they are on as consistent as possible, with as little switching as possible during their short stay at the shelter. And that consistency of nutrition is not just important while they're in the shelter's care, but as the pet transitions from the shelter into their new wonderful home, that period of time can also be stressful. And so what we say is, if you can keep one thing consistent during that time of great change for that pet, try to keep the nutrition, the food that they've been eating, as consistent as possible as they move into your home. That allows them to have one thing really in life, and that's what you're feeding them, to stay the same throughout that transition. The other thing that we love about those free bags, we provide those free bags to the shelters, over 800 shelters across the country, is that we hope that people will continue to feed the food. Because our shelter program, the shelter program that supports SPCA of Tampa Bay and many others, is made possible because people buy our products. So as those free bags go home, they're not only great for the pet to help transition into the home, but we hope those pet parents will continue to feed, because that in turn helps us to support the shelter program.
And so, full disclosure for those listening on their favorite podcast provider or watching on YouTube, I have a Weimaraner named Roxy. She is on Hill's prescription diet. We recently made the change at the request of our veterinarian at the SPCA Tampa Bay Veterinary Center. And we can definitely see the difference after a few weeks. However, I jokingly say that Roxy would eat anything that you put in front of her. But thanks to the Food Shelter Love program, I'm pretty sure a lot of our adopters are making that switch as well. Could you touch on again how much the Food Shelter Love program has grown throughout North America?
That's a topic I love to discuss, Eric. So the Food Shelter and Love program is primarily in the U.S. and in Canada, so pretty much North America. And over the last 20 years, the program has grown to the point where we are now supporting over 800 shelters in the U.S. and Canada. Most of them are in the U.S. On a full-time basis. And what that means is our program doesn't just donate food to shelters. In fact, the food is purchased at a very, very deep discount. But we don't just do that one time, and we don't just provide a grant for the shelters to buy food here and there. When a shelter partners with Hills through the Food Shelter and Love program, we are providing all of the nutrition to feed all of the dogs and cats in their care for as long as the pet is at the shelter. And then, as we talked about, we're providing those free little sample bags to help those pets transition into the home. So that program, which has now been in existence for over 20 years, has helped shelter partners across the U.S., has helped them find homes for more than 13 million pets. So something that we're very proud of, but again, it would not be possible without the partnership that we share with shelters, including SPCA of Tampa Bay.
Yeah. And Joanne, that support that Hills Pet Nutrition has also extends when it's disaster time. We had the pandemic. Hurricanes hit our state every year. It'll be hurricane season in May. Unlike football and baseball season, sometimes they go on strike or the players don't want to play. Hurricane season does not go on strike. Can you talk about your disaster relief program? Because if there has been a shelter that maybe wasn't a partner, maybe they are now because of that great support.
Yeah, and the Disaster Relief Network is really truly a partnership between our shelters and Hills. So what I mean by that is we would not have a disaster relief network if we didn't partner with over 800 shelters in North America. When disaster strikes and communities are impacted and pets are also impacted because of that disaster, or pet families, many times animal welfare organizations like SPCA Tampa Bay are the first responders for the pet community. And pets coming into the shelter can quickly accelerate as pets are displaced by the storm or by the disaster. And then pet families in the community around that shelter can also be displaced from their homes. For example, during Hurricane Ian, when homes were destroyed and people with their pets did not have a place to stay, they were in temporary housing. During those periods of times, what we can do as a company, because we're a pet food company, is we can quickly rush completely free pet food to the shelters within our network, the shelters within that community, so that they can focus on the medical needs of those pets. They can worry about reuniting them with their families or rehoming them if necessary. But what they don't have to worry about in that time of great crisis is where's all the pet food going to come from to feed all of these additional pets coming into our care. So Hills Disaster Relief Network is really an extension of our shelter program. It wouldn't be possible without that network of over 800 shelters that we partner with in North America. And I just want to stop and say thank you to Martha and you and the entire team at SPCA Tampa Bay for the privilege of working with you, just during natural disasters, but even things like COVID-19, when the priority was making sure that pets could stay in the home with their families and they didn't have to enter into the shelter. It's partnerships like the one we have with you that enable us to be able to support the work you're doing.
Yeah, and likewise from us as well, Joanne. I can tell you, every time the Hills Pet Nutrition truck pulls up into the shelter, dogs from our kennel start barking, and the humans get excited too. And especially when we had that big delivery, knowing how much we were going to be helping each other out in the community, whether it was during the pandemic or other storms, we get excited about that, and so do our partners within the community. It's great when we can all work together. But I always know when that Hills truck is pulling in, because all I have to hear is the commotion from both kennels. It really is quite amazing. The guy's out there, he's opening up the gate, and the dogs, I'm like, man, they just know. It's a different bark when that truck arrives. But It's happy times for them and happy times for us on Saturday, April 15th, when we have our 32nd annual Pet Walk. I know we're not the only Pet Walk or Clear the Shelters event on the planet. How many others are you involved in throughout the year?
And that's a great question too, Eric. I think one of the privileges of partnering with so many animal welfare organizations is we get to join you in supporting events that really bring pets and people in the community together. And Pet Walk is a perfect example of that. We love to be a part of those events. It's not only about celebrating pets that are already in homes within the community, but it's about making sure that people know there's lots of wonderful pets at SPCA Tampa Bay that are ready to come home. And so in addition to sponsoring things like Pet Walk with SPCA Tampa Bay, I believe we sponsored about 100 other local shelter events across the country last year, everything from cat adoption events to dog walks to galas and fundraisers. It's a way for us to be able to say we value the work that you do, animal welfare partner, and we want to support the work that you're doing in your community.
If you heard that weird beep, when you say the word gala, it's like one of the 7 deadly words around SPCA Tampa Bay. We bleep that out. I'm just kidding. It's like somebody cursing on air when you hear the beep. I'm just kidding. We say gala around there, the beep. I don't have that sound effect button down here, but
I'll bleep it out myself. There we go.
we'll have to make one. It's the bonus beep button. But the brand and Hill's Pet Nutrition is growing so much. My last question for you, I know I was watching a football game and I'm like, hey, there's a Hill's commercial. How much has the brand been growing as far as getting the word out there about the organization and how it helps pets?
That's a good question, especially given the light of the last 3 or 4 years. So Hills is actually celebrating our 75th anniversary this year, 75 years of existence. And we provide food to more than 80 countries around the world. So not just a US-based company, but pretty much everywhere somebody has a pet, we are providing science-led nutrition to those pet families around the world. And so as a 75-year-old company, growth is a thing that you always look for, but sometimes it's a little harder to come by because you're a bit older as a brand. But the last 3 or 4 years, Eric, have been absolutely phenomenal. I think there's a variety of factors that have come together to help pet parents really look for pet food companies that are rooted and grounded in science, that are creating science-based pet nutrition, not things that are based on marketing or fluff, but truly created by board certified nutritionists and veterinarians. And so the last 3 years have been a time of tremendous growth for us. And we have been investing in more media because we want pet parents to know that there are choices out there when it comes to pet food, and looking for something that's really, again, truly based in science is probably going to benefit your pet in the long run. So the ads, and I was very proud to see last year for the first time in Hill's history, an ad that we put on air, really amplifying and celebrating our partnership with shelters across the country.
Well, it's awesome. Well, we're glad to be partners. We can't wait to see your team on Saturday, April 15th. Look forward to seeing you if you ever get down here to the Tampa Bay area. I know that your schedule sends you all across North America, but we're excited about our pet walk. We have 2 locations this year, and we're real excited about it. We'll be in Clearwater at the Orange County Choppers Road House and Museum, and then, of course, at North Straub Park. Last year was just it going from year to year after the pandemic. I think everybody really wanted to come out and be with their animals. We even had a goat show up. I'm not sure if they're on Hill's Pet Nutrition, but the goat looked really healthy. I don't think it was one of our goats, but we haven't had some livestock in quite a while. Joanne, anything else to add about the wonderful 75 years of Hill's Pet Nutrition and to 75 more?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I want to say, Eric, to you and the whole team at SPCA Tampa Bay is thank you for the last 11 years of partnership with your wonderful organization. We are so proud to support the work that you're doing in not just the local community, but the surrounding communities. And we are wishing you huge luck on a pet walk this year. I won't be able to be there, but I'll be following from afar. And I tell you, I always love to see those pictures of pets and people enjoying such a wonderful time together and ultimately doing what's important, which is raising money to support the amazing work that you do. So good luck. Can't wait to see the pictures.
Thank you, Joanne. Thanks for joining us. Thank you again to Hill's Pet Nutrition for being one of our 2 presenting sponsors. Now, the next Pet Walk episode we have, episode number 6, kind of be like part 2 of our Pet Walk preview episode number 5. We'll be talking with Jable and how they are supporting animal welfare and SPCA Tampa Bay. Of course, they've already been at our campus a couple of times on a big volunteer project, not only helping us out with tasks that we have here around SPCA Tampa Bay at our 4-all shelter in Largo, but also helping us get ready for our pet walk at North Straub Park and Orange County Choppers Road House and Museum. That's right. Had the opportunity to talk to Keith Overton, and that interview took place a couple weeks ago, and he is getting ready. His whole facility is getting ready for April 15th. And welcome back to our Pet Walk podcast special. Keith Overton, owner of OCC Road House and Museum. Keith, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you letting me be here, yeah.
We're so glad to be here on April 15th. And for folks who have not been to the OCC Road House and Museum, you can probably glance behind me and see that big billboard. What can your fans and folks that attend OCC Road House and Museum expect when they come here besides great food and a great venue?
Well, we appreciate that selfish plug. So I believe we're probably the largest pet-friendly venue in all the Tampa Bay market. We're in a 25,000 square foot entertainment venue here. We do all kinds of events here, something going on every single day. We serve breakfast on weekends, which of course this will be on a Saturday, so you can get a great breakfast here. Lunch and dinner every single day. We have events going on pretty much every night. Monday we have the largest cornhole tournament in Florida. Tuesday's family night with karaoke. Wednesday's country line dancing with free lessons and truck night. Thursday is bike night, and the weekends are filled with concerts and all kinds of great entertainment that's going on with bands. So most of our customers here have pets, and they love bringing them here.
That's
and
right.
So we've become sort of known and gotten a reputation for being a very pet-friendly organization and a venue because, you know, people just love bringing their animals here. And you see all kinds of crazy things here, from skunks to parrots to parakeets to, we've had a few cats here, dogs galore, and we love having them here. So I think it's the perfect venue to host the first partnership of ours. It's the second location, I understand, but we're really honored to be that second location and part of the group.
We say second location, but what's the old cliche, 1A and 1B? It's the first time we're trying it.
Right.
It got a little bit bigger after the pandemic, and we had our first pet walk last year in North Straub Park where the whole community came out. Didn't have to have all of those different mask requirements and social distancing and everything.
Right.
So how did we find OCC? How did we eventually come together as partners here? Because it just didn't happen. All of a sudden, let's just go to OCC. We've been working together.
Yeah, we do. We host a series of pet adoption Sundays here at the venue, and we would have vendors come in and try to showcase some of the pets that were available for adoption. And of course, SPC was part of that. You guys have a huge presence here in the Tampa Bay market. You do a wonderful job taking care of these animals and getting them in their forever homes. And so it was just really sort of a partnership that happened. It's kind of a perfect symbiotic relationship because every one of our customers loves animals, and so and they want to help organizations like yours. So I think it's just a perfect fit.
So for folks, when they go on and register at petwalk.org, you know North Straub Park, if you're able to, and we'll roll in some B-roll, and looking at this venue, if you can describe it a little bit. I know you touched on the cornhole, the stage behind us, very open area where we could fit hundreds of pet-friendly people in here on April 15th.
Thousands. This venue will hold about 10,000 people if you account for our Riders Academy next to us here. We have free games. We have pool, sawdust shuffleboard. We have big wheel races for the kids. We have 2 band stages. We have a fire pit area over here. When it gets a little chilly, it's pretty comfortable. Behind us is our large band stage area. So this area is oftentimes filled with vendors, and people will be traversing the venue, buying merchandise, specific to pets in this case.
Right.
Inside we have an 11,000 square foot venue with a 4,000 square foot kitchen. We have a retail store that has merchandise available and lots of pet merchandise as well. Right next door we have the Harley-Davidson venue that's on our campus. So we're a 10-acre campus that's filled with all kinds of fun things that are going on, and the animals love it here and we love them being here.
So for the day of the activities, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you yet, but we have James Tully from ABC Action News 28 who's going to be the MC here. So we'll have ABC and their partnership with us here at OCC Road House and Museum. The pet costume contest, but also you started serving breakfast. I know you mentioned that earlier, but you also have a band to follow after the walk.
We do. We have a lot of things going on. I think it'll be a nice transition for folks who want to stay here for the afternoon. We've got Hot Shots Coffee here. It's a specialized coffee truck that pulls up. We do serve breakfast. The menu is incredible. I'm not just saying that because it's ours. It's amazing. We have live entertainment that afternoon, and we'll have all kinds of vendors and fun things going on, as you said, with the games. It'll be a real fun day. I think people will come here and be pleasantly surprised that, this doesn't necessarily look like a restaurant venue from the road, but when you get here, it's a real welcoming place.
Yeah. So for you folks who need your Dale Badway fix, our Broadway MC in St. Pete at North Straub Park, well, you'll have your music and your musical here at OCC Road House, but after, because James said he's not going to sing like Dale Badway. Anything else to add about our partnership and the venue coming up on Saturday, April 15th?
Just come out and support this great organization. They do wonderful things for the animals. We love you guys. We thank you for allowing us to be part of your organization, and anything we can do to help, we always will.
Awesome. Keith Overton, there you have it. OCC Road House Museum. Put all the links, and our Pet Walk podcast special will continue. Can't wait to get back out there to OCC Road House Museum with Keith and the rest of the crew. We're so excited to see how many people will travel to OCC Road House Museum. It is our second location. The past years at North Straub Park, we've had hundreds, growing to close to thousands of folks with their dogs and goats out at the park. And if we can get a couple hundred folks out there supporting SPCA Tampa Bay at OCC Road House Museum, it's going to be a great time. Okay, we're going to take a break, hear from Hills. You'll also see some previews for our costume contest that also will happen at both locations for our 32nd annual Pet Walk.
Every time you feed your pet Hills, you help feed a shelter pet, which helps make them healthy, happy, and more adoptable, changing their life forever so they can change yours. Science did that.
Sign up for the Pet Walk Costume Contest and help support animals at SPCA Tampa Bay. You and your pet could win prizes, and funds raised will help the more than 8,000 animals at our For All shelter. So get your costumes ready and sign up your pet today. Get ready for the 32nd annual Pet Walk. Join SPCA Tampa Bay and help take care of animals in our community. Gather your friends, family, and co-workers and create your Pet Walk team. Log on to petwalk.org. The registration is free, and start fundraising for SPCA Tampa Bay. Your gift can make a difference in the lives of animals in our community. Each individual who raises at least $25 will receive a Pet Walk t-shirt. Celebrate with your favorite pet or goat at North Straub Park and OCC Road House Museum on Saturday, April 15th. Welcome back to episode number 6 of Animal Tales Podcast, brought to you by SPCA Tampa Bay. Time now for Barking News. And when we talk about Barking News, it is all about our 32nd annual Pet Walk. But first, after Pet Walk, there's a couple other events coming up we'd like you to know about. First of all, received this one in my email box. It's the Cinco Dog Mayo 5K and half-mile dog fun run. I'm not going to torture Matt, who produces this podcast, and ask him to pop up this long domain address because it is long. But you can find this event on eventbrite.com or just Google Cinco Dog Mayo 5K 12 mile. No, that's a half mile. They couldn't put in the half because that would mess up the domain. But it looks like 12-mile dog fun run. Believe me, that would not be fun. It's only a half mile. So if you're having problems locating this and you can't find it at Madeira Beach or on Eventbrite, you can email me at ekeaton@spcatampabay.org. I will help you find it. Now, before that one, on April 22nd, a week after the Pet Walk, we have the Salty Sands Run Walk that is sponsored by the Rotary Club of St. Petersburg. This is the second year they are running this event, and this is how it works. They have selected 3 charities, and we are one of them, along with Reach St. Pete and Academy Prep. When you sign up for this event on April 22nd, again, a week after Pet Walk, you will give us a point for registering. If you participate, because you don't have to, it's a fundraiser, if you then participate and you are one of those fast runners, you award more points to your favorite charity, SPCA Tampa Bay. So sign up for this event, and we will have that domain on right down there at the lower part, or maybe it's the right across my face right here on the podcast. And if you cannot find that one, again, just go to Rotary Club of St. Pete, and they will have that link for the Salty Sands 5K on their page. Now, I need to get out my phone, because when we talk about our fundraiser here at the 32nd Annual Pet Walk coming up, we need to talk about top fundraisers, because at the end of the day, that's what the Pet Walk is for. Yes, it's great to go out there with your dog and to have a great time at OCC Road House Museum and at North Straub Park, but it's all about raising money for the animals in our care and wildlife too. So I want to recognize some of the top team fundraisers right now and recognize the sponsors. If you go to petwalk.org and you have not signed up yet, you can do that. It's free. If you raise more than $25, you will get a Pet Walk t-shirt. We hope to preview those for you at our sequel for episode number 6 of our Animal Tales podcast. But go to petwalk.org, scroll down the bottom. You can see all of our wonderful sponsors. We talked about Hill's Pet Nutrition earlier. We talked with Joanne Fuller. And on our next episode, we will have more from Jable. They're our presenting sponsors. But we have tons of sponsors this year, like Bay First for our Pet Walk costume contest. So here we go. Women's Annual Giving Society, WAGS, are leading right now as of the taping of this podcast, which is the last week of March, so all this could change. And then we have Spay La Vie. That is one of SPCA Tampa Bay's teams. And then you have the Paudy Pirates. I believe that's Donna Hosnick's team. They are always contributing to our Pet Walk. 50 Shades of Spay. You have to love some of these names. And I understand some of them have been approved. The St. Pete City Council, I believe they were one of the top fundraisers, if not the number one fundraiser last year as a team. And they are in right now at a little more than $1,300. Let me back up. And WAGS right now at more than $5,000 donation amount. This is awesome. But I want to go through some of these team names. I'm just the messenger here. Number 28 is Show Me Your Pities. That was approved, folks. And I'm pretty sure there's more here that I could read, but I don't want to get beeped on YouTube or your favorite podcast provider. And we have some simple ones like Must Love My Dogs and SPCA Tampa Bay Swifties. Some neat videos on our YouTube channel, because remember, Taylor Swift is going to be in concert for 3 days, 2 of them right before we have our Pet Walk. So you could donate to SPCA Tampa Bay instead of those tickets to go see Taylor Swift. Just saying. Help a great cause. I'm sure her performance and her concert is going to be outstanding. Or you could do both. You know, if you can swing it, swing it. All right, let me back up here a little bit and get in some of the top fundraising leaders. I'm coming in all participants, top fundraisers. I have Denise Kelly, Stephanie Carnaval. Both of those more than $2,000. And then we have Shelly Askin, I believe she was last year's winner. And our all-time fundraiser, which is Teresa Heeman. I love saying that name. Heeman. And now I'm getting the look from Matt. We're way over time, but I just had to mention some of those fundraisers. Okay, folks, thanks for watching. If you've been watching on YouTube, you can watch some of our past podcasts and also listening on your favorite podcast provider. This has been part 1 of our Pet Walk preview, and we'll see you 2-3 days before the Pet Walk on April 15th with our sequel here on the Animal Tales podcast. Thanks for watching and listening.